Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? I'm hoping everyone is doing well, and if not, I sincerely hope you do better. We all need a little bit of positivity and light in this dark and dreary world now, don't we? So, for those of you that don't know, I'm sure you already do, but I'm LB the Realist. This is Surrealistic Studios, where the real is surreal. I appreciate everyone who landed on this video today, this morning. I'm having my coffee, checking my notifs, and I got a I got an ad on Twitter. I love when I get ads. Makes me feel important, right? So I got an ad on Twitter from Stephanie, or Steph, as she likes to be called. You may know her on Twitter as Carmen. Well, apparently, Julian Assange had part of his. I guess they alleviated some of the restrictions that they imposed on him, but he's not allowed to engage in any, I guess you could say, political activity. So I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit from this article here from RT. Let's see. And again, I'll leave it in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves, as always. Let's see. WikiLeaks supporters were thrilled to hear that Ecuador would restore Julian Assange's internet connection. But his hosts, who have in some ways become his jailers, reportedly impose a long list of restrictions on his behavior. While stating that he is allowed to exercise his right of communication and freedom of expression, a 9-page document already leaked online forbids the journalist from engaging in political activity or doing anything to interfere in the affairs of other states. The document expressly states that Ecuador cannot be held liable for the content of Assange's communications, but nevertheless prohibits him from engaging in activities that might damage the relationship between Ecuador and other states. Assange's communications were cut 7 months ago after he criticized Spanish authorities' treatment of voters during the Catalan independence referendum. Assange must pay for his own Wi-Fi. He must use only his own devices, absent written government permission, and provide the embassy with serial number, model number, and brand name for those devices. Wow. He must also pay for his own medical evaluations, with the option of transferring to a hospital in case of an emergency, an option repeatedly denied him by UK authorities, who refused to guarantee safe passage without arrest in the event of such a transfer. Damn. Assange's health has been the subject of much concern during his 6-year confinement in the embassy. Visitors are also slapped with new restrictions. They must submit visit requests in writing to the embassy chief, giving their name, nationality, profession, and place of work, reason for visiting, and email and social media accounts, and even the serial numbers for phones and other devices they wish to bring inside. God damn. The new rules even mandate the collection of IMEIs, unique identification numbers specific to a phone handset. While repeat visitors receive a less restrictive screening process, they can have their access revoked at any time without an explanation. All visitor data will be turned over to the Ecuadorian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other unspecified parties. The restrictions include a threat to use UK police to arrest visitors or seize communications equipment should the journalists violate the lengthy list of rules. Adding insult to injury, the embassy threatened to remove Assange's cat to a shelter should they decide he is not cleaning up after the animal properly. Citing budget cuts, the document adds that the embassy will cease to pay for Assange's food, medical care, laundry, and related expenses on December 1st. From that point, only water, heat, electricity, communications, and rent will be paid for. Violation of the rules, according to the document, will result in revocation of asylum. It is unclear what such a revocation would mean for Assange's Ecuadorian citizenship, which he was granted in 2017. Moreno has made no secret of his desire to be rid of the man he has called an inherited problem, while the Trump administration has declared its intention to prosecute Assange. Again, that was from RT, and I'll leave that in the description so you guys can check that out for yourselves. So they're going after his cat now? Jesus Christ. And there was another report about how the visitor that he did have that was supposed to be able to come visit him was turned away. Let me see if I can find that. I'm gonna go to my Twitter. Let's see if I can pull that up. That's kind of a long one though, so I'm just gonna get to the part where they deny him. Let me see. It was where I was headed. Here we go. This was from Winston Weeks, 18 hours ago on Twitter, from Activist Posts. Let's see. I might actually leave this one in the description so you guys can read it for yourselves as well. Let me go ahead and let me save. Let me copy this, save it to my phone there so I can upload it later. Ecuador fails to keep promise, allowing Assange partial internet access. This was just yesterday. By Aaron Kessel. I'll read a little bit here. Ecuador claims it will partially restore the WikiLeaks founder's communications with the outside world from its London embassy, according to reports. Julian Assange has been living in the embassy for more than 6 years, having been prevented most recently from using communication services during 7 months of isolation. Reports are claiming that Assange's communication ban will be partially lifted after a meeting between UN officials and Ecuadorian President Lenin Moreno on Friday. The UN High Commissioner of Refugees Filippo Grandi and UN Special Rapporteur for Freedom of Expression David Kay met with President Moreno and agreed to partially alleviate the ban on communications, Express.co.uk reported. However, Ecuador has failed to keep its promises thus far and even prevented a legal advisor from entering the building, according to an update on WikiLeaks' Twitter. Let's see, this is from WikiLeaks yesterday. Although Ecuador has stated that Mr. Assange's isolation will be partly lifted today, after UN Special Rapporteur for Freedom of Expression and Refugees visited the country on Friday, it has yet to do so. At a 2 p.m. appointment today with a legal advisor was not let into the embassy. So they just straight up prevented him from entering. After this article went to press, the conditions Assange would have to abide by to receive his human rights back were leaked online in Spanish. The Gateway pundit translated the shocking draconian document limiting Assange's rights with asylum. Let's see. And it says here, the document demands that he avoids any activities that could be political or would interfere with interior matters of other states, essentially squashing his freedom of speech and his ability to publish. The document begins by outlining the new rules for visitors. It says that any person outside the embassy or the Ecuadorian government, without exception, that wishes to visit Assange will need to request prior authorization in writing addressed to the Chief of Embassy of Ecuador. They will need to include their full name, nationality, copies of identification, reason for the visit, their profession and workplace, email accounts, and links to their social media and other serial numbers, IMEI, for other phones or tablets they wish to keep with them during the visit, the Gateway pundit reported. Jesus Christ. They want the serial number to every fucking thing you own, your tablet, your phone. If you got a beeper, they want that shit. I'm saying, you got one of those new ass Apple Watches, they want that shit. They want every fucking thing. They want to know who made your sunglasses. Perhaps more notably, once Assange's internet is restored, he will be liable for any cost accumulated using Wi-Fi and medical expenses. The document also states that Assange can only use his own devices that are registered with Ecuador's embassy, except in extraordinary cases and only with written permission from Ecuador. Assange must provide the brand name, model number, and serial number for any devices he currently has in the embassy. Jesus fuck. This suggests that there's intense surveillance taking place at Assange's Assange's IoT, Internet of Things, devices, and potentially This suggests that there is intense surveillance taking place of Assange's IoT, Internet of Things, devices, and potentially the use of exploits like those security vulnerabilities revealed in Vault 7. If that's not enough, unsurprisingly, there are also limits being placed on Assange's freedom of speech. The documents state while Assange is exercising his right of communication and freedom of expression, he is prohibited from activities that could be considered political or interfering in the affairs of other nations that may damage the relationship between Ecuador and other states. Okay. So again, he has partial internet access. I mean, he has internet access, but there's a long laundry list of shit that he can't do, including, you know, anything politically related that may interfere with states and cause mischief, basically. So it's like, it's good news and then it's bad news, because the little shit that they're doing, just to make his life a little bit uncomfortable, it's just like really leaves him in a tough spot. And then they say that he can have visitors, and then the legal advisor comes and they prevent him from entering the building. So, they're threatening to take this man's cat away. This is unbelievable. The WikiLeaks founder has been in refuge since 2012. It is now 2018. And they're treating this man like a child. Incredible. WikiLeaks believes that the fact that their editor is being censored for what Ecuador is stating is interfering in a state is a huge step in the direction of setting a precedent that would outlaw millions of Twitter users, all journalists, and more human rights workers. On Sunday, the Press Association reported that the Ecuadorian government had partially restored Assange's access to the internet, mobile phones, as well as visits at the embassy, which have also been restricted to everyone but members of Assange's legal team. So, they just purged a bunch of people from, these social media accounts, a bunch of media accounts that, speak truth to power and that express their own ideas. And this is very dangerous. This is the time that we need to go harder than ever. Really, because they can try to silence us all, but as long as there's one voice, as long as there's a voice that doesn't give a shit and will just keep speaking truth to power, then others will be brave enough to come forward themselves, So that's one of the reasons why I do videos, because I've seen other people do it, and I've seen that they had courage and bravery enough to stand up and make their voices heard. So I said, why not me? Why not me? And I encourage anybody out there, why not you? This is the time. Make videos, start writing, write poetry, do your drawings, all that, because the freedom of speech and expression is on the line here. I mean, Julian Assange is not even an American citizen, and they want to extradite him and prosecute him here in the U.S. That's unbelievable. All for releasing the truth. This is what speaking the truth gets you. Man, it's a scary time. It is a very scary time with everything that's going on. Very scary time. So, with all that being said, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think we should do to increase the pressure? We have the Unity for J online. We have making our voices heard, making videos, writing articles, this and that. But what can we really do to turn up the heat? Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Like this video if you like, share it if you feel as though it's shareable, and subscribe to me if you haven't before, that is. And remember to love, light, keep spreading that enlightenment. Remember to have peace in your souls. And until next time, I'm out.